Hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about tax and tip. Tax, also known as sales tax, is a percentage of your purchase added on to the subtotal. Tip, which is also known as a gratuity, is a percentage of your total that is given for services provided. Alright, so how do we find tax and tip? So the first thing we want to do is change our percent to a decimal. And then we're going to take that decimal and we're going to multiply it to the original cost or subtotal. If the question asks for a total, then we take that tip or tax that we found and then we add it to the subtotal or the original cost. All right, so let's put that to use. All right, so we have a couple different methods. So method 2 is going to be more like these 3 steps up here. But last class we also learned about percent proportions. So we're going to do a little bit of practice throughout using that, and we'll do a little bit of practice using those 3 steps. And then that way, whichever method you prefer is the method that you can use. All right, if the sales tax in your city is 9.6%, how much tax would you pay for an item that costs $57? Round to the nearest cent. All right, so remember our percent proportion. Okay? We've got a percent over 100 and then our part over whole. Okay? And in this case, our part is going to be our tax or tip and our whole is going to be our original cost or our subtotal. All right, so let's go ahead and set up our proportion. All right, so here we have our 100. So let's go up and figure out what is our percent. Okay? So our percent was 9.6%. So I'm going to put that right here. All right, how much tax would you pay for an item that costs $57? All right, so how much tax? So that's this part here, that tax or tip. We don't know, they're asking us. So that's the part we don't know. All right, so we're going to put a variable there. And then the original cost or the subtotal was $57. So we're going to put that here. All right, so just like before, when we want to solve a proportion, we multiply our diagonals. So I'm going to do 100 times x and then 9.6 times 57. All right, so now we're just going to multiply those together. So 100 times x gives us 100x and 9.6 times 57 gives us 547.2. All right, our next step is then to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 100. Right? And then we end up with x equals 5.472. All right, remember, we are looking for the amount of tax in this case, which is a dollar amount. So we have to put a dollar sign in front of it, and money only has 2 decimal places, so I have to round to the second decimal place. That 2 makes our 7 stay the same. So I would pay $5.47 in tax. Okay. And then circle our answer. So in this case, they were just asking for how much tax we would pay. All right, now if we were to do this using these 3 steps, here we go. Here's how we would do it. So step 1, we would convert our percent to a decimal. Right? Step 2, multiply the decimal by the original cost. So there's my percent to a decimal. And then I'm going to multiply those 2 together. Okay? And then again, we're rounding to the nearest cent, second decimal place, which gives us that $5.47. So either method is going to get you the same answer. This one is a little quicker, but if you like the idea of proportion solving, go ahead and do that. Okay, so now I want you to try this one on your own. Use either of the methods above, doesn't matter which one. Go ahead, pause your video now. Okay, when you come back to class, we'll go over that one, see how you did. All right, now let's take a look at example 2. So I'm going to do this one first using the proportion method again. All right, so Jen and her 3 friends went to the Olive Garden. Their total bill was $48 and they left an 18% tip. How much did each person pay if they split the bill evenly? All right, so that's key. How much did each person pay if they split the bill evenly? So first, we need to go through and find out how much tip did they leave. Okay, we've got a few different things to do here. So first we have to figure out how much tip did they leave. So that's our first step. Okay, find the amount of tip. So again, I'm going to use my proportion on this one, just for more practice on it. So let's set it up. Okay, so their total bill was $48, and they left an 18% tip. So let's fill in what we know. We know that they left an 18% tip, and we know that their total bill was $48. Okay, so let's figure out how much tip did they leave. Okay, so that's what we need to figure out. What was the actual tip? All right, so we're going to cross multiply 100 times x, 18 times 48. And then when we do that, we end up with 100x times 864. We need to solve for x, so we're going to divide both sides by 100. And we end up getting x equals 8.64, or in this case, since it's the amount of tip, $8.64. All right, so now we found the amount of tip. All right, the next thing we have to do is find what the total amount is. So what was the total? So we're going to take that $48 and we're going to add that amount of tip to it. And that gave us a total of $56.64. All right, so now we know how much they paid altogether. But they want to know how much did each person pay if they split the bill evenly. All right, so what does that mean? If we want to split the bill evenly, okay, that means we have to divide. So how many people were there all together? Well, there's 3 friends and Jen. So that means there's actually 4 people. So we have to split this between all 4. So we have $56.64 divided by 4 will give us $14.16. And there's our final answer. So we had to go through 3 steps to get there. Okay? Make sure that whatever you get as a final answer answers that last question. All right, go ahead and try this one on your own. Okay? Go ahead, pause your video now. Okay, let's take a look at example 3. Rick bought 3 shirts for $18, 2 pairs of socks for $4, and a pair of pants for $45. The sales tax rate is 15%. How much did he pay? All right, so they want to know how much did he pay. So first thing we need to do is find his subtotal. Okay, so we've got he bought 3 shirts for $18, 2 pairs of socks for $4, and a pair of pants for $45. So we've got $18, we got $4, and we have $45. So $18 for the 3 shirts, $4 for the 2 pairs of socks, and $45 for the pair of pants. So our subtotal came to $67. All right, so now that we have our subtotal, let's come over here and find the amount of tax. Now in this one, I did it kind of the easier way because I wanted to be able to kind of bounce back and forth between the 2 methods. All right, so 15%. Let's take our percent and convert that to a decimal. All right, so 0.15. Now we're going to take that 0.15 and we're going to multiply it to our subtotal here. And that ends up giving us $10.05. All right, so that's how much tax we paid, but what we need to do is find out how much did he pay altogether. So now our third step is find the total. So we're going to take the $67 and add the $10.05 to it. And we get $55.05. All right, come on down here and try this one on your own. Right. Go ahead and pause your video. All right, let's go to that last page. And we've got one more example together and one more try on your own, and then we'll be done. Okay, the Garcia family went to Applebee's for dinner. Their dinner cost $57. If they want to leave an 18% tip for their waitress, how much would they leave? All right, so right now, they're asking just how much tip are they leaving? That's what this is asking, okay? So this particular one, I'm going to set up as a proportion. So we have our proportion like this, okay? Percent over 100. So there's my percent, okay? Their dinner costs a total of $57, so that's my total that's going down here. We need to figure out how much tip. All right, so let's go through. We're going to do 100 times x, 18 times 57, and that gives us 100x is equal to 1,062. I'm now going to divide both sides by 100, and we end up with x equals 10.62. Since we're dealing with money, it's $10.62 for the tip. All right, so we found tip. Now, we're going to deal with the sales tax, which was 6.5%. How much do they pay in taxes? Now, here's what we have to remember. Our sales tax and our tip are two separate different things, and they're both based off of the subtotal. They're both based off the $57. Okay, so we're going to use that 57 again down here. Now this time I'm going to do it kind of the easier way. So I'm going to start with that 6.5%, and then I'm going to turn it into a decimal, so 0.065. Okay. Now we're going to use the original amount, that $57. Okay, so I'm going to do 57 times 0.067. Okay, and that gives me 3.819. All right, we're dealing with money though, remember? So we need to round that to the nearest cent, the second decimal place. So my tax was $3.82. All right, so now, how much do they pay in total? So now, the bill was $57, the tip was $10.62, and the tax was $3.82. And now we can add those all together, and we get $71.44. And there's our final answer. So the key thing here is when you figure out your tip and your tax, you base both of them on the original amount. Okay? They both have to be based on the original amount. All right, so now I want you guys, at this point, this is your last try on your own. Okay? So give this one a try. It's just like the one above. Okay? It's broken down for you, so go ahead and work on this one. You can stop the video now.